Hello and welcome. Improve Your Patient Care with Adaptivo is the title of today's webinar. My name is Mary Napolitano, and I'm the product manager for Adaptivo. So first I'll go over a quick overview of the product for those of you that aren't familiar with Adaptivo. And then I will provide a clinical case and give you some details. This was a case that I give credit to Brian Pomager for, and he shared this case with us and also shared some details of this as well as another clinical case back in June 2020 webinar. But it's a really good illustrative plan, and so I wanted to share this particular case with you. It helped improve this particular patient's care because replanning was flagged and then confirmed via additional imaging, comparing to the planning CT to the treatment cone beam CT, showing that there was tumor regression, that the fluid had cleared in the lungs since the time of the planning CT, and that the patient had lost weight. And then after that, I'll go into a few details of what's new in our latest release. So Adaptivo has 3 different modules. We define them as the pre-treatment module, of course, your pre-treatment QA using an EPID panel. The next module is we refer to as the Indivo Module, which is a daily 2D EPID-based comparison. And then the third we refer to as Adaptive, which is a daily 3D comparison based on the images from the cone beam CT. So just a little more information about those particular modules. So the Indivo module, as I mentioned previously, uses the daily EPID images. And so the patient is, of course, positioned on the table, and the patient positioning can be monitored using the image from the EPID panel, as well as changes in the patient anatomy. And clearly, the beam delivery as well can be monitored using this method. We do comparison between the measured image to a predicted exit image, and that comparison is done using a gamma analysis. As well, the measured image can be compared to a reference image. And so in this relative mode as well, gamma analysis is performed. So more typically, our customers use the measured versus the predicted mode of comparison. Of course, there's automatic notification if a deviation is detected. Reports are automatically generated, and the other comment I wanted to make was that for the pre-treatment, it's a very similar workflow. Everything is the same, of course, except that there is no patient in the beam. And so that's the difference between the in vivo and the pre-treatment module. Just a bit more information and clarity on the predicted versus the relative mode. So the predicted mode, each daily portal image is compared to a planned image for that particular field. And so this is a field-by-field analysis or per arc. It's based on the RT plan and, of course, the Adaptivo beam model, which must be commissioned. For relative mode, each daily portal image is compared to the reference portal image, and the reference image is by default the first day of treatment, but it can be modified by the user. The Adaptive module provides a 3D dose comparison between the daily and the cumulative dose. It uses the cone beam CT image in order to perform the calculation. The structures are automatically registered to the cone beam CT. It's a fully automated process. The DVH is compared with the planned DVH, and we also have defaults in for the RTOG protocols and contact limits so that you can use those, or of course you can input your own analysis and comparisons that you would like to perform based on the DBH. Again, there are automatic notifications and clear and informative dashboard that gives you the planned daily and cumulative dose flags. And if you can see here on this screenshot, this is a portion of the Adaptivo dashboard, and you can see the regions of interest outlined. Though only the ones where there is a flag appear on the dashboard. And in this particular example, the PTV has a plan notification, so the typical limits didn't meet the plan criteria. And then in this other plan, the rectum, for example, had a daily as well as a cumulative dose flag. So the motivation for in vivo QA, of course, we are interested in making sure that the correct delivery is actually provided to the correct patient. And so this in vivo QA requires the RT plan, a beam model, machine records, EPID images. If you're going to do the 2D analysis, if you would like to do a 3D daily, then cone beam CT images are also required. And this QA during the actual dose delivery brings in a QA of the LINAC delivery itself, the patient alignment, anatomical changes, so that all of these items then are checked in order to ensure that the correct delivery has occurred for the particular patient and is logged. So now I'd like to move into the particular case study that I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar. And so this is a right lung and a mediastinum case. The treatment modality is VMAT, rapid ART. Previous treatment was SBRT to the right lung lesion, and we will use the predicted mode. Other clinical background that's important to keep in mind is that there was a need to minimize dose whenever possible due to this previous SBRT near the treatment region. So there are some overlapping volumes. The patient had significant fluid in the lung during CT simulation, and this was the CT used for the treatment planning. Additional clinical background, that there's a relatively large volume now being treated to a fairly high dose. The previous SBRT treatment was a 7 gray per fraction in 5 fractions to a total dose of 35 gray. The current prescription is for an additional 65.5 gray. So this area treated previously was considered as an at-risk structure to help minimize total dose during the treatment planning. And so, of course, any internal anatomy changes could result in overlap and with unacceptable hot spots, increasing risk for tissue necrosis. And so now I'd like to go ahead and bring up the software, and I have this particular sample plan in Adaptivo. And this is a software. And I'd like to take a few minutes before I go into this particular plan to get you oriented. So this area up in the upper left is the active alerts area. And this is where a physicist would come in each day and check what alerts have occurred each day. As you notice, some of the patients have more than one alert because I have not acknowledged alerts for any of my patients because I'm, not clinical. This is just demo data. And then here on the right is more information. If you'd like to look, you can see this is the particular demo lung case that I'm was giving background for. And what you can see along here is the each fraction. This is fraction 1, 2, up through fraction 30. And you can see for the first 30 fractions, the chiclets, as we call them, are green, meaning that there was a good gamma comparison. So the gamma was in the pass range. And then you can see here at fraction 31, it's yellow, and we're entering a borderline tolerance or a warning area. So, to start looking. And then here by fraction 35, we have the below level that we would like to be seeing for this patient. And so there's actually a flag here that I need to acknowledge. And so you can either go into the plan to review the flag from this area, or up here, of course, in the active alerts, mostly users will just go directly into the plan from this area. So this takes you directly into the particular patient plan, and this will take me directly into the patient plan, into fraction 35. I can make this a little larger if you'd like to see. And it's highlighting here the fraction 35 that we're seeing. I can go ahead and clear the selection so that we can see the gamma analysis for all of the beams and fractions. And as you can see here, these hotter areas have increasingly been present from the beginning of treatment. You can see over here, fraction 1, we have 100% gamma pass rates. And then as you scroll through, you're starting to see larger regions of gamma failures. And so we can go ahead and go in and review the beam details for this particular fraction. And what you see is, the red, this is the hot, cold gamma. So the hotter area is due to changes in patient anatomy due to the tumor regression and weight loss. And it's very easy to spot. Of course, we have the profiles where the green dashed line is the measured portal image in each one, the Y profile and the X profile. Going through this region. And then we also have the red, which is the predicted. And you can see the measured is hotter than the predicted. As well, we can go back to the plan and take a look at some trends, or we can just go straight in and take a look at some of the reports. And so reports are automatically generated. Notifications are here. I've turned on all the reports for this particular case, but you, of course, can just select particular reports. And you go in and you can see here what I have is the beam average report. And so this provides you the gamma pass rate as a function of each beam on a weekly basis. And you can see here, the first week we had 100%, and then the average of fractions 6 through 10. And then finally, when we get down here to fractions 31 through 35. And then there's a really nice trending graph that you can see in the UI, as well as it's included in the reports. Along the x-axis are the fractions. Here you see fractions 1 through just past 35, where we have the alerts. And then on the y-axis is the gamma pass rate, and you can see the trending down for all the arcs, as we could clearly as well see from the other dashboard. So that's really everything that I wanted to show you in the dashboard today. Of course, you have a separate area for the pre-treatment QA plans, and these will be adaptive notifications that I referred to earlier. So with that, I'll go back to the presentation and stop through the area. And so then in summary, for this particular case study, Adaptivo alerted the staff that there were significant changes. And so based on that information, the physician discontinued the initial plan early, re-CT'd and replanned the patient's boost. The physician was able to increase the boost daily dose from 2.5 gray to 3 gray because of the smaller target volume. The end result is a significant reduction in the treatment volume, increase in tumor dose, and reduction in normal dose to normal tissue. So some really great improvements for this patient's treatment. So I thought this case well illustrated how to improve your patient care with Adaptivo by providing daily treatment and delivery monitoring. You can determine both daily and cumulative delivered dose, and of course, automated calculation and notification is provided. So the last thing today that I wanted to go over with you is what's new in version 1.5. And version 1.5 was officially released December 21st. So it's still hot off the presses. We have an improved system security via additional user roles and improved LDAP communication. These additional user roles, for example, exclude IT users from receiving the patient data, more compliant roles so that you can differentiate which users have access to which portions of the system. The ability to exclude review and analysis of in-progress plans. I don't think I mentioned previously, but Adaptivo is so automated that all plans that you are treating are automatically analyzed without the need to do as much as export from your treatment planning system to Adaptivo. So Adaptivo is quite automated, so we have complaints that there are too many plans in the dashboard. So if your physician does not choose to follow a particular plan, or it's a plan that you would not like to appear and be reviewed on the dashboard, you can exclude that plan. We have increased usability and more feedback to the user in the commissioning modules, more graphics and error messages. We have a more thorough patient removal to meet the EU right to be forgotten. So just making sure the databases have the patient information removed as well. And then we also have a streamlined process to update your DGH-based template alerts in case you would like to add additional criteria after treatment has started. So we have those are the highlights. There are additional other features that we have included, as well as a good number of bug fixes. So that concludes my planned presentation. If you have any questions, please go ahead and put it in the dialog box. I also wanted to share with you, while you're maybe typing in your questions, that I will be attending the AAPM virtual meeting, IMRT2A, Learning from Our Past to Move Patient Safety Forward. I got approval to attend. It looks like it's going to be a really nice learning experience. So I look forward to seeing you virtually there. I don't see any questions. So I hope I did not miss any. And with that, don't hesitate to reach out. If you do have questions, I'm Napolitano at standardimaging.com. Thanks for your time and have a great day.